Interest rates are too high and you can't buy a house. Hey, this is Martin Taggart, Team Real Estate, joined by some special guests today. So, okay, first of all, the two of you introduce yourselves to the thousands in attendance and the millions on cable.
Rachael Briggs, Senior Loan Officer with Flat Branch Home Loans.
Derek Fricke, Branch Manager with Flat Branch Home Loans.
So these guys like to print their own money and make home loans.
That's true.
She laughed. So interest rates have gone up. If you're looking at the math and you say, okay, they've gone up 50%. They went from 3% to 4%, right? So they went up 50%. Not actually true. The interest rate doesn't have, because it's compounded, it doesn't really have that kind of an impact on a single purchase. So is it too late to buy a house?
Absolutely not.
No, it's a common misconception on interest rates. The banks have really put a lot of money and time into commercials to try to make people think that the interest rate is the most important factor. They really want people to refinance and sell their home every 3 to 5 years, so you're actually paying 60 to 70% interest on the home. The only time you actually achieve your interest rate, Martin, is when you make that final payment on the 360th or 240th month or whatever term that you have. So it's a real misconception that the rates have that huge of an impact on payment.
So how much does that increase in rate then have an impact on an average payment?
An average payment, the increase that we've had recently is only going to affect you about $2 per $1,000 finance. So it's a pretty minimal increase.
So then why the worry?
People worry that the interest rate is going to affect the payment and that it might affect home prices because everybody has the misconception of what happened in 2008 is going to happen again. The difference between now and 2008 is in 2008, I'm an old dog, I've been doing this for 20 plus years. Back then we were doing a lot of loans that people didn't really qualify for and a lot of adjustable rates. Now everything's a Fannie, Freddie, or Ginnie Mae product that everybody has to fully qualify for, and they're not adjustable. So people get their payment, they know what their payment's going to be, and it's the payment that they're able to make.
So hold that thought for just a second, because we need to circle back around with regards to inventories and how that impacts things. I'm like you, I was around during that time. What was, when you bought your home, your first home, what was the interest rate?
Mine was 6.5.
I think mine was 6.5 as well.
So I had an 813 credit score and mine was 13.5%. And my dad said, man, that's freaking awesome, because ours was 17%.
Yep.
So where did people kind of lose their thought that all these things are relative?
I think a lot of it is in the marketing. Act now, buy now, it's going to be too late. Everything's going to go away. Everything's kind of a rush.
Right.
You need to fit into it while the rates are great. But the rates are still good. People are still buying homes. People are still selling homes. Monthly payments are still affordable.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of safe fails in place now after the market crashed in 2008. So the qualification process is completely different from how it was then.
So kind of circling back to that issue with inventory, in 08 and 09, there were all kinds of vacant homes, and lenders changed their strategies a little bit, whether it was a negative amortization loan or a stated income loan, basically to fill houses. Yes. So 100%. Prices weren't really going up that fast because you were just filling the need of the inventory that was there. Right. This time around, we have record low inventories. So as prices go up, I know on the real estate side, we're just simply, if you were my buyer, I would just be counseling you, instead of, if we've got a $300,000 pre-approval, let's look at a $265,000 limit for our home, so we have some room left over, right? In the event that we need to
negotiate up.
Yeah, exactly. So other than that, that's really not a big issue.
Well, and the only way that you're going to make that inventory into a surplus would be building houses, and everyone knows right now it's taking 2 years to build a house, and the cost to build a house is about 3 times what it was 1 year ago.
Holy smokes.
You're not going to be able to fill that inventory in a timely manner, and any time that there's going to be a deficiency in the supply, you're always going to have the increasing prices going forward, regardless of what the interest rates do.
So let's transition for one quick second over to something else that's kind of swirling around this, which is cash out refis. Mm-hmm. Big issue here, because banks, it's not that they don't want you to have your equity back, it's that they want to make sure you're using it for the right reason when you get it. So which one of you wants to tackle that?
I'll tackle that. So banks are going to start making it more difficult, and they already have a little bit for cash out refinances. 10 years ago you could cash out to 95% of your home. Right now the max is 80%. I don't see the limit of 80% dropping, but what the banks will do is every 5% loan to value, whether it be 80% of your home value, 75%, 70%, has different rate hits attached to that. Mm-hmm. So what the banks will do is they'll start adjusting much more harsh rate hits in those higher brackets of 5% loan to values. So those cash out rates are going to go much higher. So it's very advantageous if you're in the market now and you want to access that equity while the rates are still great, to be able to get that money before those rate hits start going in, as the lenders want to start insulating themselves against that risk.
So is the tipping point still about 50% loan to value, where the rates start to really accelerate upward?
60%.
Oh, 60, yeah. Okay.
60% is where they start to accelerate upwards. 70% is the sweet spot. But I have many, great credit score, high net worth people right now that are taking the 80%, because the rate is, like we discussed earlier, still very good historically.
Oh, yeah.
And if you invested in the market, you're going to have a positive cash flow, as well as reap the benefits of having that tax deductible mortgage interest.
Right on. So if you had any parting words for all the folks that are out there that are watching us that are going to be interacting with you over the course of the next few months, what would you say?
Now is the time to get out there and see what you can do. There will be some changes in the market. It's not anything that's going to change house values. The rates may tick up a little bit, but you'll have an offset with mortgage interest, and now's the time to get out there and get something done.
Yeah, don't be scared. People are still out there doing it. You guys can too.
These guys are awesome. Remember, life is better with the team.